special episode. I'm gonna be tattooing myself. I just like the idea of this flower, so I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. I just decided might as well do a podcast while I'm at it as well. Um, but there's just a couple things I wanted to discuss. I first wanted to start off with talking about the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's very popular and it's getting a lot of shit right now. But the reason I wanted to bring it up is because I think that a lot of people are getting like the wrong idea of that episode. I don't think it's crazy how like people even want to remove it from a category just because they don't like that although he was gay, they don't like him attached to the LGBTQ name. And I just think that's crazy that nowadays, like, media and everything has power to control that. And so I just got started. We'll see how this goes. So far, so good. Pain level's not too bad. But regardless, I just think it's crazy how people are so mad that because of what happened. And they wanted to take down the building because of what was associated with it, but people just wanted to build a park and they don't want to do that either. And I don't know if it got built or not, but I just think it's crazy that even though what was factually correct happened, not a lot of people want to address it. Those are real people who died at the hands of this serial killer. And what's crazy is that it doesn't really seem like he has much remorse or anything like that. It seems like he just accepts what he did. And honestly, like, at that point, it doesn't even seem like he cared about getting caught. I mean, he was fucking cooking up people in his apartment like it was nothing. So when it comes to that, I'm pretty sure, like, he already knew that at some point he was gonna get caught. And sorry, I'm trying to focus on this tattoo. Pain level's not too bad, but regardless, it's kind of hard to keep straight lines when you tattoo yourself. Regardless, I think it's crazy how when something like that happens, like right now, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but in Texas, with everything that went on with the Uvalde shooter, they want to take down the school, and it's like, I don't think that's what you have to do in a situation like this. I mean, I don't think anything prepares us for a situation like that where something like horrific happened, and then a lot of people just want to forget about it, but I don't think that's like the right way to go about it. At that point, you're just removing like a part of history, and it's bound to happen again. And it kind of sucks for like people who have to relive that with like all these things going on, especially now that it's almost Halloween. Oh yeah, it's almost Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. I'll try to get this episode out before Halloween starts, or maybe on Halloween. Maybe make it a special episode like that. Um, I don't know. So Halloween lands on a Monday, which I don't know what a lot of parents are gonna do, but this is gonna be my first year, because my son is 3, and his mom and I aren't together. So this is gonna be my first year that I get to like do something with him. I'm planning on going on like a trunk or treat or something. But anyways, his costume is gonna be Pinocchio, by the way, if you guys wanted to know. But what was my point? That's another scary thing too. Is like now that my kid is like growing up, is that I'm gonna have to deal with like all these school issues. And don't get me wrong, like as a parent, I want to be there like attending all the assemblies or whatnot, all the performances and stuff. Hopefully, I can even be like a custodian parent, like the ones that when you went to on a field trip, like they were there, like helping the kids. I don't know. I would just like that because as a kid, I never really like got that much like how would you say, like attention academically, or my parents never really like put interest, or maybe not even that. It just, I wouldn't say put interest. It's just they never really like knew what was going on in terms of like school and stuff. And that's okay because I mean they were always working and stuff, and that's just what you have to do sometimes. And my point is, now that it's Halloween, like people are dressing up as Jeffrey Dahmer and stuff. But I mean, I kind of see their point as to why they're mad. But I mean, if you really think about it, this has been happening like for the longest time. I mean, people still dress up as pirates, like it's a cute thing. Pirates are fucking savages. And you know, people would dress up as like a native, people would dress up as, you know, I just don't understand why people are so mad. I get that like it was a horrific event that happened, but horrific events happen all the time. And when something like that happens, I mean, the whites conquered fucking the natives like crazy. They just raped and pillaged, and there's people who still dress up like Native Americans. And it just, I mean, now because like the subject is so sensitive, I get it that people shouldn't be dressing up like that. But if it wasn't for this new series that came out, and it is well done, because that's the thing I was kind of talking about, is a lot of people think it just had to do with his side of the story, you know, and it had to do with like all the racism, all the, it had to do with like all the side stories, like on how everything came to be, on how he chooses victims, about things like that. And it's just crazy to me how, if I don't think if that series came out, dressing up like him wouldn't be that big of a deal, because I mean, it's just with the times, I guess. And another thing I kind of wanted to talk about, and like, I don't know, it's, I wanted to talk about how the media and everybody just decided to how the media and everybody just decided to ban Andrew Tate. And I know he's like a crazy, or like, yeah, crazy topic to talk about, or maybe not the correct one to talk about, but I kind of wanted to have this conversation because personally, like, there is things that he says where I'm like, oh, but I think for the most part, like, he's just trying to support and bring some kind of form of like what a, like, make some kind of definition of what like a man is supposed to be. Because not only does he talk about how successful men aren't the ones that are just sitting around, you know, judging people or doing whatever. They're people who go out there and actually do the work. And I think that sometimes people just need somebody to tell them what they can and can't do, you know. I mean, I wouldn't say can't, sorry, my bad. That people just need somebody to tell them that everything's going to work out, that everything, as long as they work hard, they can achieve whatever they want. And honestly, if that's bad to like, I don't know. There's so many things wrong nowadays that like banning somebody like that doesn't seem like the correct move to go. And I mean, if you watch any kind of interview with him or anything like that, you'll see like he makes points on like what, how he feels, and he defends him, and most people just attack him with like little random shit that he says on the side, you know. And most of it is like aimed towards women, but I think that women have been saying the same thing about men for like the same time. Like, for example, there's a video of him. I don't remember if it's one of his friends or him that is talking, but he's saying he asks every woman in the room to rate themselves, and all of them say 10, 11, 1,000, And that's kind of the point he makes, that all of them said number higher than 10 because they see themselves on like such a pedestal. And that's the difference between us and women, is that I think we are willing to like put ourselves in the spotlight and say, no, we're not a 10, we have flaws. But I think that's what makes us human. Although we have flaws, I think everybody else and everybody who has a flaw can work on themselves. And it's bullshit when people say that people can never change, because I think we're constantly evolving into something better we want to be, or maybe we're going backwards and going to something worse. And that's kind of like his point. If you think you're stuck in a dump somewhere and you can't move, there's always going to be a way. And I think that's kind of the message he's putting out, and everybody's just kind of portraying it in a bad way. I mean, to be fair, he doesn't really have like professional mannerisms that like you would like to see in somebody who's trying to like put out good advice. He just has a certain way of talking that rattles people up. And I don't know, sometimes you need somebody like that, and just to make people realize, for one, how crazy the times have gotten, that you could just cancel someone. And it's not even that, because canceling someone doesn't really affect, like right now he's probably still making money, he's probably still doing the same exact thing that people banned him for, and he's not going to change because that's how he found how to make money. There's the progress, if you guys wanted to know. It's not too bad. Pain level's not too bad. Just pulling through. Regardless, what I was talking about is, yeah, sometimes I think men just need some other kind of man to tell them that it is possible. And I think there's a lot of people out there that just need that last little push and that last little piece of advice. And obviously there is going to be things like that you don't agree on, and that's kind of his point. I don't know if you guys have seen the interview with like Piers Morgan and him, but he brings up the point how if anybody ever asked him to do like his podcast, he would, regardless if he liked them or not, simply so they can share different views and different opinions. And the guy who's interviewing him, he tells him, well, that's bullshit, because these people are not like good people. He's like, regardless, I want to hear them out, because I want to hear all kinds of like point of views and opinions. And I think that's kind of like one of our biggest issues now, is that we're not willing to listen and hear everybody out. We're too sensitive, or we would just like to believe that sorry, I dropped my machine. We would just like to believe that, I think everybody wants to be heard, actually. Everybody wants to be heard, but nobody wants to listen. Just because you agree with something. And I saw this guy who put it, like, he put it pretty good. He said, I hate it. It's this gay guy. It's this video of this gay guy, and he's saying how he doesn't really like the LGBTQ community that much because, for example, he's gay. So he says, I just sleep with men, come home with men, have sex with them. I love men, I would marry a man, whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he agrees with, changing your gender when you're still a teenager. He does not like that. And he's like, and I hate that if I said that, he would be anti-LGBTQ, even though he is gay and part of that community technically. And that kind of puts it perfectly and into perspective on how the way things are now. You're kind of just classified as something, even though you could have a separate opinion on something else. And it's kind of really shitty that we can't take opinions and things at face value. We always have to like think about how it's affecting us and our feelings and things like that. But sometimes people just want to be heard, and when people don't get heard, that's when people get hurt. That's when all these shootings happen. That's when all these mental illnesses start happening. We just have to start including everybody. Everybody wants to feel included. Nobody wants to feel left out. And it makes sense. But ultimately, I think what the biggest, how would I say, if you want to change, start trying to listen to people and hear ideas and thoughts out, because you're not always right, and not a lot of people are willing to accept that. Yeah, sometimes I do need help, or sometimes I just want to be left alone for a little bit. I think if you want to change who you are, you got to start at that. Instead of being offended every 5 minutes, try to think of what they're saying and how you agree or don't agree. And whether you agree or not, just hear them out. Hear what they have to say, even if you don't agree, even if you believe what they're saying is not right. Sometimes you need to know that there's people out there who speak like that to make sure that you don't. It's not necessarily that you want to like this person, it's that you want to better yourself and hear what other people think to improve you. Not necessarily because you think the other person is right, sometimes the most random people teach us the weirdest lessons, And if you take those lessons as a bad thing, then that's definitely something that needs to be changed as well, because like they say, people might not believe it's true, but every day is a gift. Not everybody gets to live. There's people out there who are getting put in hospitals every day, and personally, this year I there was two people that I used to go to junior high with, and what's crazy is that they're my age, yet those two people that I'm talking about, they passed away. And that kind of just put things into perspective to me. There's a family that out there that is not gonna get their 22nd birthday with their kid, because I'm 21, and it's kind of crazy to think. And that kind of put it into perspective, because sometimes when people die, that's when people want to start moving and want to start, they're automatically put into guilt. They're like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. But where were you when they needed you? You can't even give people a call back these days. So many people have such an ego or such a pride to just call up somebody and be like, hey, how are you doing? Just because they're too busy. Let me put this into perspective. I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you were to put all the time in your life that you spend with your parents into a percentage, before you turn 18, that is 90% of the total time that you will ever spend with your parents in your life. After 18 or after 21, I think it is, it's the last little 10% that you'll ever spend with them. And that just put things into perspective. And what I mean by that is, sometimes we wait too long to do things that are important. And that's kind of something that I try to change and try to better myself at, is when I feel a certain way about something, or I feel like I need to tell somebody something, I do it. I don't wait. Even if it's just a simple I miss you, I don't like to wait, because you really never know what's going to happen. You could not wake up tomorrow, And people say that all the time, but it's true. We don't all get the same life, and we don't all get to enjoy the same things that other people do. Like I said, two of my friends passed away, and for one, I'll never see them again. And what's crazy is that, I don't know if you guys knew this, but when I was in high school, I would just go live all the time. It was end of 8th grade to 12th grade. I would just go live all the time. And the reason I bring that up is because I have so many videos with those friends. And looking back at it was crazy, you know, all the laughs, all we were so innocent, we were so little, we were so dumb. And that's the magical part of it. We were just so, everything was just in the moment at that time. And I think, like, as a parent, now that I'm a dad of a 3-year-old and he's starting to grow and stuff, I think that's like one thing I will try not to forget when I'm older, is to remember exactly how I felt. Because you know, when you're in high school, and I think everything matters. A lot of stuff matter that once you're done with high school, nobody ever talks about, or nobody ever shows you again. So ultimately, I don't know. I don't know. I hope that when I'm older and wiser, and as a parent, I will know how to handle those situations when they come. Because I think, like, when teenagers and, you know, young people that are in school still, they have such like a hormone, like, their body's going through changes, and nobody teaches us these things on how to deal with it and how to change, and that it's normal to feel this way. You're not different, you're not weird. It's just literally your body going through changes and not knowing what to do, especially because nobody talks to you about it. Like, there's so many girls out there whose parents are so like old school, I would guess, that they don't really have talks to their kids about their bodies. And I'm not necessarily saying like that you have to teach them about sex, you know. If you think that's the school's way to do it, or if you think it's better for them to learn it at school, then go right ahead. But sometimes they just need you to explain things to them. And I've noticed that, like, a lot of people that I know, that's like the one thing they wish their parents did more, is talk to them, make them feel like everything's okay, that their body's not weird, that they're not weird. And ultimately, I think we have to make sure that we know where our parents are coming from, because they were raised in a different time by different people. And you also have to realize that not only did you not ask to be born, they didn't also. Nobody has to be born right, and we're just all trying to figure it the fuck out. Ultimately, we just have to respect everybody and move on. I honestly think that there's still so much good in this world, and that nothing's ever going to change that. I believe that. I believe that out of all the bad in the world, that good will triumph. And, you know, I'm glad that I got to do this podcast again. I've missed it, you know. I've missed everything about it. I miss talking to the people. I miss talking to my friends. I miss hanging out. And the reason I haven't done it, or it's been a while since I've done it, is because I'm trying to find like a good place to do it. But I figured if I wait for the perfect opportunity to just do, I don't think it'll ever come. I don't think it ever comes. So you just kind of have to take that leap of faith, you know. So I'm gonna start to do these more often. I enjoy getting my thoughts out there and hopefully relating to some of you people, or trying to understand where y'all are coming from. And you guys teach me. You guys have been the best. And I'm glad to start doing these again, because this is my dream, you know, to one day build this up and have people listen and hopefully inspire them to do something that they never thought was ever possible. Because whatever you really set your mind to is really what you're going to get. Some people, it's not that they're lazy, it's just that they don't have that drive in them, you know. They don't think it's that important. They don't think they're that important. But if only they knew that they could change the world with just even their words, like I'm trying to do. I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna change the world. I'm saying I'm gonna change somebody's. I hope to change somebody's, to make them think a little different, make them say different things, make them more open to thoughts, anything. So if I can change one person's world, one person's mind on anything for something good, then doing these is worth it for me. I don't need much from you guys. I just need y'all to support. And you guys are the best. I love doing these. I love talking. I love getting things out there. Because honestly, I think I'm the type of person to be pretty open about things. So maybe there's something that I've gone through or something that I'm going to go through that you guys are going through yourselves, and there's not somebody who will speak or even, give you some advice on how to go through those stuff. And I hope to be that kind of person. But anyways, that's how the tattoo is coming along. I don't know if you could tell. But yeah, it's pretty good. This is the first podcast I've done that I'm tattooing myself. I don't know if there'll be others. I was just kind of bored on this Sunday and decided to kill two birds with one stone because I wasn't going to do the podcast today. I just got lazy, and I kind of think that's like what I'm talking about. You just got to have a drive. You just got to have something that motivates you, something that you think is truly good, truly true. I'm just gonna check if this camera works. All right. But yeah, it's not as painful as I thought it was gonna be. It does hurt. I mean, don't get me wrong, tattoos don't tickle, but it's not that bad. So if you guys don't know, I've been like tattooing for like about a year now. Nothing professional or anything, just here and there doing small tattoos on people and on myself. So far so good. I don't know if I'll make it into something. I don't know if something big will come out of it, but we here just doing our own thing. You know how it goes. And so it's been really dope to come back here and do what I want to do. I figured I could find some time outside my job to talk to you guys, or even just talk to myself. I hope to bring on more guests here, and who knows, maybe I'll tattoo them. That would be cool. Another thing I wanted to talk about is where I've kind of been at mentally. I think that I've made so many changes from when I first started this podcast to like now. And if you guys know me, I think I'm a little bit more comfortable with saying things that I normally wouldn't say. I'm more comfortable with who I am. I'm more comfortable. And I think, I don't know if there was anybody in this situation, but when me and my son's mom first split up, I felt pretty lost. I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I didn't know what my next move was. It kind of feels lost, You feel lost. You feel like nothing's ever going to be the same. You feel like you're never going to love anybody again. And it's kind of shitty when that happens, but it's moments like that that make you realize that you're tougher than you are. And that no moment like that will ever defeat you anymore. It takes a bit, and it takes a lot of courage to like move on from something like that. And you got to realize that sometimes things just aren't meant to be. You and that special someone that you thought you were going to spend the rest of your days with, they were just kind of a lesson. And sometimes I think that we get a little too caught up on our feelings to realize that a lot of people aren't meant for us to keep them in our life. They're meant to teach us, they're meant to improve us, but not to keep. And it took me a long time, I think, to realize that that sometimes you can't have everything you want, and it's okay. Because that's how you become better. And I don't know if you guys have seen this video of Joe Rogan where he says, you are not your past. I love that video, and I will share it every time. It says, you are not your past, you're you right now. Yeah, you might have done some things you regret, but that's not you anymore. If you really want to change, you can. Don't let anything or any moment define you, because you're no longer the past you. You're the you're the one who has learned. You're the one who has moved on from that situation. You're the one who survived. Nothing will ever hold you back from being that again. Nothing will ever hold you back from being that again or improving. And in honesty, if when me and my son's mom split up, I had to take like a good look at myself and think, do I really want my son to look at me and be like, my dad never got over my mom. He's still struggling to accept the fact that they will no longer be together. And honestly, I did not want to be that. I did not want my son to look at me like that. And starting from that moment, that was a moment that changed everything for me. I started to be more vocal about things. I started to be more fun, started to live, and it's worked out pretty good. You just have to find the one thing to hold on to if you're thinking nothing will ever be as good as when I was with this person, or nothing will ever be as good as when I had that raise. Keep moving. Nothing's gonna stop you. Keep moving. Don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't do. Just keep moving. You don't have to figure it out in a day or two. You don't even have to figure out in that moment. You don't even have to figure out in a month or a year. Just slowly. Just take it one day at a time. Regardless of how you feel or how much you want things to change, you're here now, and if things go your way, then great. If not, then oh well. You win some, you lose some. On to the next big thing. Because you're gonna have victories again, and you better be ready when you have those victories again. They can take you down 7 times, but you ultimately have to get up 8. You can't let yourself be defeated by people who want to see you down. So many people want to see you defeated, and you're gonna be one of them. You're gonna be one of the people who tell themselves, "I'm not shit. I'm not anything." I'm not telling you that you have to have. I'm not telling you have to be cocky about it, but you do have to have like some kind of arrogance and some selfishness when it comes to like how you feel and how you want your life to change. Nobody or no moment should define you. You just keep moving. You become the things you want to do, and you do the things you want to say. And ultimately, at the end of it, you got to think, do I want to look back and think, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have said this, maybe if I would have done that, maybe. That's another big step that you have to take when letting things go. You have to put it out there. Anything you've ever wanted to say to the person, anything you ever wanted to do with that situation. Don't necessarily have to be with somebody, but anything you've ever wanted to say or do, why not do it? If it's not going to go your way, then fuck it. You already know the outcome. But, why not take that last little leap of faith, Where sometimes we're so afraid of what people will say or what the outcome will be, but we don't know anything. We don't know till we put it out there. And if you're not going to be willing to put it out there, then you already know the answer. That took me a long time to understand, and if I could teach, or if I could make you guys like take away anything from any of my videos, it would probably be that I don't like living in regret, and I don't like living with what ifs in my life. I don't like living with what if I would have said this, what if I could have done that. Ultimately, when we die, and let's say there is a God at the end of the road, right? Whatever. I don't care what you guys believe in, but let's just say there was a God. And at the end of the line, he goes, look, Here's a list of all that you could have accomplished, and here's what you accomplished. Wouldn't you want to like meet that list, or at least make that list as short as you could? Because imagine he's like, you were supposed to move out this day and you didn't because you didn't do this or anything like that. I would like to have that list as short as possible. Honestly, I think that's what drives me. Sometimes the thought of knowing that if not me, then who? Nobody's gonna come here and change my life for me. This is why I started tattooing. I wanted to do something that I could say is my own. I wanted to do something that people would look at me and say he actually, I don't know. Sometimes like just having conversations with clients and stuff, sometimes that's like the best thing that could ever happen to you in life. You learn so many things from so many different people and you hear so many different stories, and I think that's like a reason why I wouldn't necessarily want my kids to go to like a private school, because I think when you're in public school, that's where, for one, you meet your most favorite people, you meet all your best friends there, and two, I think school is not only meant for like educational purposes, but it's also meant for social purposes as well, not just educational. They're supposed to teach you on how you communicate with people, and what's right or wrong when approaching someone. They teach you about how to. That's where you get your first like girl feeling. So why not have it with somebody who has lived a crazy life? And I just think that a lot of people have the same lifestyle when they go to a private school. Sorry, a lot of them come from very similar backgrounds and very similar situations, and sometimes in public school you get those crazy people that turn out to be drug addicts. Some turn out to be doctors. I mean, you never know when you go to public school, and that's the awesome thing about it. They teach you the good and bad about life, and that's why I don't think I would like to necessarily send my kids to public school. And I mean, yeah, maybe different parents have a different. Obviously, you want the best for your kids, but the best doesn't always mean spending the most money on them. And I think I have finished my tattoo. I'll probably do a little touch ups to it here and there. But if you guys want to look at it, there it is. I don't know. I think it looks alright, not too bad. There it is in the light. I don't know if you guys can see it. But yeah, I'm glad. I don't know how long I spent on that tattoo. I think less than an hour or something. I don't know. But yeah, there it is. That's gonna be on me forever, and I guess this hopefully this podcast out there forever, and nah, y'all will take something away from it here and there, or give you some advice, or even just to entertain you, try to make you laugh. But I'll try to have more guests on here, keep things interesting, keep things flowing. And I don't remember. It's been a while since I've done these, but I don't remember what episode we're at. But I appreciate all you guys watching, like always. You guys are the best. Every single one of you, even if it's like 3 of you, I don't care. You guys are the best. But yeah, apart from that, I'll have to think of other topics to talk about, and we'll see you all next time. It was so good talking to you again, and hopefully we'll be doing these more often. And again, these will be on Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, Castbox. I'll have these everywhere, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to hear me talk and listen. See you later.